Did you know that certain seemingly harmless daily habits might actually be accelerating your aging process? The reality is many behaviors we once relied on to stay efficient or feel safe can slowly undermine our well-being, mental sharpness, and self-sufficiency as we get older. Yet hardly anyone discusses them. And by the time we take notice, we've already suffered the consequences. Stiffness, low energy, forgotten plans, and a sense of disappointment or embarrassment. In this video, we'll dive into 6 unexpected habits you should consider letting go of after 70. Not because someone said you should, but because giving them up could pave the way for a more active, confident, and fulfilling life. These aren't vague recommendations or far-fetched ideals. These are routines that many seniors fall into without realizing it, and shifting them now could help you feel more like yourself again. Stick around until the end, because you'll likely recognize a few of these patterns in your own life, and you'll leave with simple strategies to shift them. Begin today. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do so, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Your support allows us to keep producing helpful, uplifting content. Now, let's jump in. Number 1. Avoiding muscle-strengthening activity. A common misstep after 70 is thinking that it's safer to slow down and reduce physical effort. It might sound logical. Your joints might feel a bit stiffer. Your sense of balance might not be what it once was. And lifting more than a grocery bag may seem daunting. So many older adults scale back their movement believing rest equals protection. But in truth, skipping strength-focused movement is one of the quickest paths to losing your freedom, physical capability, and autonomy. Muscles don't just provide power, they're essential for survival. After 70, muscle deterioration or sarcopenia speeds up unless we make a conscious effort to fight it. This doesn't mean hitting the gym or training like an athlete. It means keeping your existing muscles active. Even modest forms of resistance, such as using your body weight, light dumbbells, or resistance bands, can bring major benefits. The secret is staying consistent and intentional. Each time you walk, rise from a chair without help, lift a bag, or reach overhead, your muscles make that possible. Let me introduce you to Gilbert. At 82, he used to avoid most forms of exercise after a minor fall a few years back. He became fearful of pushing himself, worried he'd get injured again. So he stuck to the couch, short walks, and routines that felt safe. But after seeing a physical therapist, he discovered that being inactive was causing more harm than movement ever would. He began with simple 5-minute strength exercises. Nothing complex, just standing up from a chair without using his arms, lifting cans of soup, and improving his balance by standing on one foot beside the kitchen counter. In just 2 months, his legs felt stronger, and his self-assurance started to return. There's something deeply empowering about moving your body with intention. It's not only about mobility, it's about self-respect. It's about the confidence of knowing you can rise from bed without hesitation, walk through a store without relying on a cart, or lower yourself to the floor to play with your grandchild, and know you'll be able to get back up. Strength provides that sense of freedom, and it doesn't require hours each day. A handful of consistent basic movements can begin restoring what time has tried to erode. The reason most people don't bring this up is because muscle loss happens silently. It doesn't cause pain, at least not at first, but you start noticing it in the little moments. Losing your breath more quickly, finding stairs harder, or leaning on your arm just to rise from a seat. The earlier you catch it, the easier it is to turn around. It's never too late, and you don't need fancy tools. What you do need is the decision that maintaining your strength is more important than taking it easy. Number 2. Eating the way you did in your 40s. A common trap for many people over 70 is thinking they can stick to their old eating habits. Same portions, same meal schedules, same comfort foods repeated throughout the week. It feels routine, it feels comfortable, And for decades it may have worked well, but your body no longer runs on the same operating system it did 30 years ago. Your metabolism has slowed down, digestion may not be as smooth, and your nutritional requirements have shifted. Still, many people eat out of routine instead of actual hunger, and that quiet pattern can lead to weight gain, low energy, and creeping blood sugar issues. The reality is, once you're over 70, each meal counts more. You may not need as much food as before, but your body craves more of the right types. Nutrient-dense, easy-to-digest foods that fuel your bones, brain, and stamina. That means dialing back on big portions of heavy meats, refined carbs, or processed snacks, and instead focusing on smaller, balanced meals filled with fiber-rich veggies, lean protein, healthy fats, and hydrating fruits. It's not about going hungry. It's about nourishing your body based on what it needs now, not what it needed decades ago. Let me share Scarlett's story. She's 75 and had never really put much thought into her eating habits. 3 generous meals a day, just as she'd always done. But over time, she began to notice a change. After dinner, she often felt bloated. Her afternoon energy dipped, and her clothes didn't quite fit like before. Her doctor didn't lecture her. He simply suggested a new approach. Reduce portion sizes slightly, include more vegetables, and start paying attention to her body's signals of fullness. In less than a month, she didn't just lose a little weight. She felt more alert. Her sleep improved, and she mentioned feeling more emotionally balanced in ways that surprised her. This isn't about going on a diet. It's about making gentle adjustments. Just like you wouldn't still wear shoes from your 30s, your eating habits need to evolve with your body too. With age comes experience, and that includes being wiser about what and how you eat. Eating a bit less isn't about denying yourself. It's about being smarter with what you give your body. It's about offering it what it truly needs while cutting out the excess that weighs you down. When your meals are mindful and well-balanced, your body begins to respond with increased energy, clearer thinking, and a more stable mood. And here's something that deserves more attention. It's completely okay to create new eating habits in this chapter of life. In fact, it's an act of self-care. You're not letting go of food enjoyment. You're building a healthier, more supportive relationship with it. You're learning what genuinely satisfies, what keeps you going, and what makes you feel your best. That kind of insight isn't just beneficial, it's empowering. If you're still watching and this message is resonating with you, leave a comment saying number 2 below. I'd love to know you're with us. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you never miss a video. Your encouragement helps us keep making helpful, thoughtful content just for you. Now, let's keep going. Number 3. Withdrawing from social connection. After 70, it can be surprisingly easy to slip into isolation without fully realizing it. You might go out less, cancel plans more frequently, or convince yourself that staying home is more comfortable. Sometimes it's due to physical challenges. Other times it's emotional. You might feel like you have little to offer these days, or maybe people don't check in like they once did. So you slowly pull back. You tell yourself the quiet is nice, that you're content. But the reality is that social isolation can have serious effects on your health. Loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's a genuine health concern. Research has found that a lack of connection in older adults can contribute to depression, memory issues, and even a greater chance of heart-related problems. The brain flourishes through connection. And when those regular interactions fade, the mind tends to turn inward, often in ways that aren't helpful. Casual chats, shared laughter, even a brief phone call. These are like workouts for your brain. They keep you mentally alert, emotionally balanced, and most importantly, they reinforce your sense of worth. Let me introduce you to Sylvia. She's 80 and gradually distanced herself from her social circle after her husband passed. At first she believed she just needed space, But what began as a few months soon stretched into years. Her mind felt cloudy, her days began to blur, and her motivation declined. Her daughter gently nudged her to try a weekly senior yoga class. Just as a change of pace, Sylvia was reluctant, but she went. And what truly surprised her wasn't the physical activity, it was the connection. Laughing before class, chatting afterward about their week. It brought a sense of joy and vibrancy back into her world. She hadn't realized just how much she'd miss being around people. Now, this doesn't mean you need to sign up for multiple groups or attend loud social events. It simply means finding little ways to stay in touch. A standing phone call with a friend, a walk around the block with a neighbor, a community group at church, or even an online interest group. These small moments of connection work like emotional nutrients. They lift your spirit and remind you that you're not walking this journey alone. And the more connected you are, the stronger and more balanced your mind and body become. What makes this tricky is that isolation can feel safe. It's quiet, familiar. But there's a difference between enjoying your own company and slowly disconnecting from the world. One replenishes you, the other slowly depletes your energy. You have so much to offer. Your stories, your kindness, your sense of humor, and others are enriched just by your presence. Even if you don't always see it, when you reach out, it's not just for your benefit. It's also a quiet reminder to someone else that they're not alone either. Number 4. Brushing off minor health issues. One of the most risky patterns that can develop after 70 is ignoring small physical symptoms simply because they seem unimportant or familiar. A bit of light-headedness, some mild chest pressure, or just feeling more tired than usual in the afternoon. You may chalk it up to aging. You don't want to make a fuss, don't want to worry anyone, and honestly, you're tired of visiting doctors, so you say nothing. But dismissing these subtle signs can have serious consequences, especially later in life when early detection is key to preventing bigger problems. As we age, the body becomes more fragile, but it also becomes more communicative if we're paying attention. Symptoms you once brushed off can now carry greater weight. That bit of swelling in your ankles could be your heart sending a warning. Occasional forgetfulness might not just be a harmless lapse. It could be an early indicator of something more serious, and the more time that passes, the harder it becomes to treat, manage, or turn things around. Catching potential issues early doesn't make you anxious. It makes you smart. It gives you choices and a sense of control. 2 things that are truly worth holding on to. Let me tell you about Walter. He's 78 and had always seen himself as resilient. He avoided doctors whenever he could and rarely worried unless something truly hurt. But eventually he noticed his vision was getting fuzzier and a tingling sensation started in his feet. He dismissed it as normal aging. It wasn't until his daughter urged him to get checked that he discovered he had early-stage diabetes. Because they caught it in time, he was able to manage it with changes in diet and exercise. But his doctor didn't sugarcoat it. If he delayed much longer, it might have progressed beyond control. You are the most tuned-in expert on your own body. When something feels off, unfamiliar, or unusual, you have every right to take it seriously. Not out of fear, but out of responsibility. Not all health concerns arrive with blaring alarms. Some creep in quietly, and as we get older, paying attention to those quiet signals becomes even more crucial. Acting early can lead to faster healing, fewer medications, and a better quality of life overall. That also means trusting your instincts. If you feel like a medical professional isn't listening or taking you seriously, you're absolutely entitled to ask more questions, get another opinion, and advocate for your well-being. You've spent a lifetime caring for others. Now it's time to extend that same attention to yourself. And no one else lives inside your body. No one else knows what it feels like from your point of view. So, when something feels off, don't stay silent. If you're still watching this and you found this message helpful, drop a number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do it. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Your support helps us keep making content that matters. Now, let's continue. Number 5. Depending on memory instead of writing things down. After 70, one of the most overlooked habits is relying too heavily on memory. Maybe you've always remembered birthdays, appointments, and medications without needing reminders. And for most of your life, that worked just fine. So you keep at it, running through your schedule mentally, reminding yourself to make a call later, or tracking your pills without writing anything down. But here's the subtle risk. Memory doesn't work quite the way it used to, and leaning on it without backup can lead to small mistakes that turn into big problems. Missing a lunch date is one thing. Forgetting whether you've already taken your medications is something completely different, and it's more common than people like to admit. You might take a dose twice by accident or skip it altogether, assuming you already did. That tiny moment of doubt can turn into serious health complications, especially when it involves blood pressure pills, diabetes meds, or painkillers. But let's be clear, writing things down isn't a sign you're slipping. It's a sign you're being smart. It's a way to safeguard your well-being and ease your daily mental load. Let me tell you about Bill. He's 73 and always took pride in his sharp memory. He managed the family finances, remembered every important date, and never relied on calendars. But after forgetting a specialist appointment and missing his morning meds twice in a week, he knew something had shifted. At first, he felt ashamed, like he was admitting defeat. But after starting a simple notebook and using phone alarms, he discovered he wasn't just more organized, he was less anxious. He said it felt like he'd finally put down a heavy weight he didn't realize he'd been carrying. Our brains are doing far more than we give them credit for. And with decades of knowledge in life behind you, it's completely normal for short-term memory to slow a little. That doesn't mean something's wrong. It just means your system needs a bit of help. Keeping notes, posting a calendar on the fridge, using a pill box, or setting a few digital reminders. These aren't signs of forgetfulness. They're smart ways to ensure you're staying on top of things without relying solely on memory. What often surprises people is how freeing it feels to get tasks out of their heads and into a visible system. It clears mental clutter, eases stress, and brings a greater sense of confidence. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop running the same to-do list in your head on repeat. Instead, you trust the tools you've set in place, and your mind can finally breathe a little easier. Number 6. Avoiding technology entirely. One of the most limiting habits many people over 70 fall into, often without noticing, is completely turning away from technology. Maybe it feels too complicated. Maybe you've tried before and felt overwhelmed. Or maybe you've told yourself it's just not for you. You might say things like, "I don't need all that," or "I'm too old to learn," or "I've gotten along just fine without it." While those thoughts might bring comfort in the moment, they quietly create distance between you and tools that could genuinely improve your life, making things simpler, safer, and more connected. Technology doesn't have to mean diving into social media or buying every new device on the market. It can be as simple as learning how to send a message, use a voice assistant to create a reminder, or access your health records online. These tools aren't just fads, they're lifelines. They help you manage your prescriptions, stay connected with family, get assistance in emergencies, and find information in seconds. By refusing to engage with it at all, you're not avoiding pressure. You're increasing your reliance on others. Let me tell you about Louise. She's 79 and used to call her daughter every time she needed to check her appointment schedule or look up a medication refill. Her daughter always helped, but Louise felt more and more dependent. One day, her grandson showed her how to use the calendar and reminder apps on her phone, and how to access her site for refills. It wasn't smooth at first. There were missteps, questions, and a few moments of doubt. But after a few weeks, she found herself handling things on her own that once required several calls, and she felt something she hadn't felt in years. Capable. That's what this is really about. Not mastering the latest tech, but reclaiming your independence. Small wins with technology add up quickly. Checking the weather, reading messages, getting medical alerts, or even joining a virtual class. These little steps remind you that you can adapt, you can grow, and you can stay engaged with the world around you. You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need a little curiosity and someone patient to help you along. And if you've ever felt embarrassed or frustrated for not knowing how to use something, let that go. Everyone starts somewhere. No one expects you to understand everything right away, but giving yourself the chance to learn is what counts most. Technology is not the enemy of aging, it's a powerful partner, and the more open you are to it, the more possibilities you create for yourself in return. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights useful, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating helpful content to inform and encourage you. Now, let's move forward. Final thoughts, sharing, and onwards. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've covered together. Which one of these habits do you recognize in yourself? Which one surprised you? After 70, the rules of the game change, and yet nobody hands you a new playbook. That's why it's so easy to settle into routines that feel familiar, but gradually wear down your health, your independence, and your peace of mind. But here's the reality. It's never too late to change course. You don't need to transform your whole life in a day. Simply identifying these 6 pitfalls and choosing to take one small step away from them can lead to greater clarity, more energy, and renewed confidence. Whether it's adding a bit more movement into your routine, modifying your diet to reflect your current needs, or finally asking someone to show you how to use that new phone, you're not falling behind. You're learning how to move forward with purpose. Aging doesn't mean stepping aside. It means stepping up with the wisdom you've gained and using it to shape the rest of your life into something lighter, steadier, and more fulfilling. These habits may appear minor at first glance, but every decision you make in favor of your well-being is a powerful reminder that you still matter, that your time still has value, and that some of your best moments are still ahead. Thank you for being here with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing that stood out to you today and how you plan to apply it. Your voice matters to us, so don't hesitate to join the conversation. Reading your responses brings us both motivation and joy. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support allows us to keep creating meaningful content to inform and uplift you. Thanks again for watching, and we hope to see you in the next